This is the apartment building problem. We're going to set up a solution using the solver in Excel. So I need the number of apartments, that's my units, and then the price is the rent, that's my dollars. And then I'll find the revenue. So I know that with 70 apartments, the rent is $1,100 per month. But if I raise the rent by $25, then one person moves out. And I can create a revenue function, or at least get values for the revenue. But the problem is that I can't use solver on this. If I try, let me show you the error that you can get. Set your objective, set your revenue to a maximum by changing the number of apartments, and go to solve. And it says solver can make the objective cell as large as it wants. And the reason for that is that there's no connection between the number of apartments and the rent. So if I change the number of apartments, say to 50, notice that this rent isn't going to change because these were both just put in as constants. The revenue will update because it's built off of the apartment number, but the rent itself has no connection. So what I need to do is go back. Let me get rid of the revenue for a minute and take these data and have Excel tell me the equation for the line that would be connecting these 2 points. So let's insert a chart, a scatter plot, and notice that with 2x2 data, there's a tendency for Excel to read it in the wrong manner. So I'm going to right click and select data and switch the rows and columns. That looks better. And then I can add the trend line and bring up the submenu to display the equation on the chart. So I have apartments and rent, and then revenue. 70 apartments. Now I have an equation to create the rent. It's negative 25 times the number of apartments plus 2850. Plus 2850. And then the revenue is price times units. Okay, now if I change just the apartment number, I should be able to copy the formulas down and see my data is correct. I'm getting the same values. My rent went up by 25, the apartments went down by 1. But now this is data where each column depends on the number of apartments. So I use this graph to get the equation of the line. I'm going to create another graph so that I can look at the revenue function. So I'm going to select the apartment column and the revenue column. And notice that my X data is decreasing. And if I put more points on my graph, so click on the chart and then select the handle and create the data. Notice that I'm over, like I'm too far on my x-axis. The maximum is going to be back here. Let me pull up solver. Set the objective function, which is the revenue, to a maximum by changing the number of units. This time I do have a constraint, so if I click in here and add the cell reference for the rent on the same row as the other ones that I've been using has to stay less than or equal to 1,500, and hit OK. And now you can see that I've got a constraint in the box. So Excel will not give me a solution where the rent goes beyond 1,500. And then hit solve. The best solution is 57 units. What rent should be charged would be $14.25.